In this particular session, what we're going to do is we're going to show you that we're moving on to our next mannequin, which is mannequin B. This mannequin is brand new. We are going to be doing a diagonal back haircut on her, and we're going to try and keep mannequin B the long mannequin, if you will. So the previous mannequin or the previous haircut that you did on mannequin A, the previous two haircuts, that mannequin A is going to get shorter and shorter and shorter, whereas in mannequin B, we're going to try and leave as much length as we possibly can based on the classic cuts that we're going to teach you here at Capri. Up on the board, what you see is you see the procedure or the subsections that we're going to be using. I will be demonstrating the 4 basic sections, which we always start all of our classic haircuts on, as well as all of our haircuts on our clinic floor. All haircuts in the general sense, we always start with 4 basic sections. In this particular haircut, there are only 4 subsections that are going to be taken. And as you can see, the first subsection we're going to do is we're going to go from the top of the ear to 1 inch above the nape area. And the other part, second part, is we're going to take our second section, which is actually going to go all the way from the front temple area down to the occipital bone. So it's going to go right from the front of the haircut to the back of the haircut. In the third section, we're going to go from the receding area to the widest part of the head in the back. And then section number 4 is from the center of the eye to the bottom of the crown. I will show you also how that looks from behind, so this way you have an idea of what I'm going to be doing for you in just a moment on our mannequin. And this is where we're going to be taking our subsections, and that is what it looks like from the back of the head. So there are the 4 basic subsections. We're going to get started with this haircut. We're going to do the haircut for you, and we're going to start off again, like I said, with our classic 4 basic sections. Tilting the head back, we're going to start off by going from the center of the nose. Remember the procedures for good sectioning. We're going to comb the hair in the direction of the part. We're going to sketch down the head with our comb. We're going to then take this and we're going to touch, pinch, and separate and push that hair over to the side when we do that. We are doing a haircut, which we did just in the previous haircut, meaning the same line is going to go from the front all the way into the back. And that determines that my side section here will go just behind the ear. So I'm going from the highest point of the head to just behind the ear. And this way I don't have to deal with the ear when I'm working on the back section of this haircut. And that's, again, there's 3 main points in the 4 basic sections that we use depending on the haircut we're going to be performing. And in this particular case, we're behind the ear. The other point is the center of the ear, and the other point is where the ear meets or touches the face. Okay, we're going to clip this up and out of our way. We're going to then go to the other side, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, so what we're going to do to start this haircut is in the back, I'm going to take my subsections down, and again, from the top of the ear to the 1 inch above the nape is about where I want to be. And you could see that we're going to take that diagonal back, and we're going to drop that down. So top of the ear, 1 inch above the nape area. Clip that hair up. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Comb the hair in the direction of the part. Sketch the part. Touch, pinch, and separate. Okay, now that that's secure and clipped out of the way, we're going to start by taking this subsection down. Remember, we're going to cut parallel to our fingers. We always separate the center back first. Get this hair out of our way, and we're going to start our haircut down low. We're going to go nice and long with this mannequin, and we're going to angle our fingers parallel to our parting, bringing it down and bringing our guideline in. We do have to take about this much off, because if we don't take this much off, what's going to happen is by the time I get halfway through this haircut, nothing will reach my line. So again, I'm a good 3 to 4, maybe 5 inches below the baseline, which is the white base on here. We're going to keep our fingers parallel to our parting, and we're going to cut that line upward and towards the face. Continuing through this haircut, natural fall, let it fall where it wants, no elevation, and minimum tension. Okay? And that is our line to start this haircut. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to take this other side and we're going to take a small piece of the guideline from this side, just a tiny piece, push this hair out of our way, bring this hair down natural, and that is going to be our starting point for the other side of this haircut. 0 degrees, no shifting, back to 0, angle my fingers so they are parallel to the parting, and start my haircut. There's our next line. Continue. We are then going to come in and we're going to check our lengths on this haircut on the sides to make sure they are nice and even. The second section is from the temple to the occipital bone. So what's going to happen now is I'm actually going to take both of these clips out and we're going to blend the side into the back section so they will become one section. Take our clips out of our way, put them on the other side. We're going to take this all the way from the temple area, which is right here, all the way back to the occipital bone, which is that bone at the back of the head, right here. So we're going to take our section, comb the hair in the direction of our part. We're going to sketch with a tip of our comb, touch, pinch, and separate. Comb that hair down. We're going to put this all up in just one clip. Always make sure when you're clipping the hair up and out of your way, you want to make sure you have a good visual sign on this haircut as to the subsection that you're doing. Okay? We're going to do the same thing on this side. Notice my body position when I'm doing these subsections. I am doing it so that as a righty, on both of these subsections, my body position is in the back of the head. Now, you might wonder why, and I will explain in just a moment. If I try to do a subsection going forward, upward, it is much more difficult for me as a righty to get a good clean line going downward. My body position and my body with the way my arms work going upward with a section does not match my anatomy. What I want to do is I want to be able to position my hand where I want it to come out, comb the hair in the direction of the part, and you could see just the way my body's positioned back here that this is a much more natural way of taking this parting. So again, from the temple right down to the occipital bone, I'm going to sketch, touch, pinch, and separate. And that should give me the section for the other side. Now, you might say, well, Mr. A, why are you always saying comb the hair in the direction of the part, sketch, touch, pinch, and separate? Why? Because it is the most efficient and effective way of creating a good straight part. So we're going to now bring this hair cut down, and you could see I have my subsections coming to the occipital bone to the temple. I'm going to follow procedure, and we're going to take this section of hair out of the way. We're going to let this fall naturally. We're going to bring our section down, following our comb, angling our fingers parallel to our parting, as you can see, and we're going to cut. I'm going to now take the mannequin and turn her, bringing this hair down, and again, following the guideline which I have in the back, as you could see. When we get to the side area, we will not have a guideline, but we will just continue the line up through the side that we started in the back. You see me wetting that down because it's much too difficult to see my line on dry hair. So what I am doing here is I'm bringing this hair down. I am using the guideline that I used in the back, and I'm just going to continue with my fingers parallel to my subsection, and I'm going to continue my cut going upward. We're going to now move on to the rest of this haircut, and section number 3 is coming up. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our section down. We're going to go from our receding area to the widest part of the head. So as you could see, I'm going to come in. This is the receding area right here. We're going to go to the widest part of the head with that. So here's my recede to the widest part. Subsection that out. Keep your line straight. Remember, you might think it's easy to make a nice straight subsection, but when you're working and trying to make a straight line on a curved surface, it's not that easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to pay attention when we go to sketch that line out, and we're going to, again, keep our body position at the back of this head. We're going to place our fingers where we're going to exit this subsection, and I'm going to now comb the hair in the direction of that part. I'm going to sketch that subsection. I'm going to touch, pinch, and separate. And as you could see, I came out a little bit higher than I did on the other side, so I'm going to redo that. Again, comb the hair in the direction of the part, sketch, touch, pinch, and separate. Now I'm happy with that. I'm close to where I am on the other side. And we're going to move on from this, and we're going to clip this out of our way. Nice ponytail. We're going to split this down the center, continuing following our procedure as we always do. We're going to bring this down at 0 degrees, making sure we're as close to the body as possible and letting the hair fall where it wants. We're going to now bring this hair down, and you could see my guideline underneath as I cut. Continue by lifting up and turning her head, letting this hair fall down naturally. There's the guideline. Follow it. Cut the hair off. And what I mentioned earlier about not having much hair left to cut when we do this, you see now why we had to cut that amount of hair off the bottom of this hair mannequin to be able to see something when we come up towards the front here to cut this line. If we were to leave it longer than we did during this procedure, we would not see the clean haircut and the clean line we want to achieve for this diagonal back haircut. All of that hair gets pushed to the side. We're going to let this hair fall, looking for our fingers be parallel to our parting, and continue our line upward. Again, following our guideline. There it is. Continue cutting upward, turning that mannequin as you go. Here's my guideline. Follow it. And last but not least, for our next to last subsection. Check lengths before moving on. And now we're ready to take our last subsection, which goes from the center of the eye to the bottom of the crown. So we're going to take our sections down, this side first, clip that out of the way. And the last subsection we're going to take is going to be from the center of the eye to the bottom of the crown. Okay, you can see we're about that much higher in our back. And we're going to clip this out of our way. We're going to now take the other side. Again, keeping my body position in the back here. We're going to comb the hair in the direction of the part from the center of the eye, sketch, touch, pinch, and separate. And our next to last, that's our last subsection in this haircut. And we have one more section to bring down, and that'll be our last part of this haircut. Look for our guideline. There it is. Hardly any hair reaching in the back here. Pick the mannequin up, bring her to the side, nice and straight. Keep the head up as straight as you possibly can. Make sure you can see your guideline because we want to make sure our fingers are parallel to our parting. Drop the hair down. Look for your guideline. Take that hair off. Continue your line towards the front. And there is the last part of that. Again, following procedure, when we drop the sections, we're going to split this hair down the center in the back, push that over to the side, not worry about that. And at this point in time, what I want to do is I want to follow and I want to let this hair, you see me using the large teeth of my comb, I just want it to fall around the head. I know that I'm working on wet hair, and ideally to find true natural fall, it should be dry, but we teach you guys how to cut on wet hair, and we want to make sure that you can cut hair more importantly than doing a perfect haircut at this time. Okay, so we're going to follow our natural fall, bring this hair down, following from the back. Even if nothing reaches, check your guideline, cut anything that may come past your guideline off. Bringing the hair down, looking for any stragglers that may be there, following through the haircut, again, bringing that hair down and taking anything off that might be coming off the guideline. Now, since this last section is going to be in the front of the face, we will no longer see a guideline from our side, but we will just continue bringing this down to the side and continue that line upward until we've completed that side. We will then again take this hair head, lift it up off of its stand. We are going to separate it, that side from this side. We're going to bring this hair in natural fall, let it fall where it wants, and we will now bring this haircut down, look for anything that comes over our guideline, bring it to the side, continue bringing the hair down 0 degrees, look for anything that comes over our guideline, continue moving her forward and turning her, following the procedure we did on the other side. And last, we will then take this last section, bring it down, and continue that line upward to finish this haircut off. And that will be the final section. Check lengths that they're even, and that is the completion of the diagonal back haircut, one length, for you guys to see and to create. We will be blow drying this now for you guys and giving you a final look. We're going to tuck it under just to emphasize the one length of this haircut, and you will see the classic haircut number 3, which is the diagonal back one length haircut. Okay, so to wrap up our one length diagonal back haircut, which is our haircut classic number 3 here at Capri, I want to just explain to you the differences between 1, 2, and 3. If you remember or recall, this haircut we started with, which was haircut number 1, was done on a horizontal line, which we call a square bob. The second haircut classic was done with a diagonal line, but it was diagonal forward, shorter in the back, longer to the front. Here on number 3, we have a haircut which is done on a diagonal, but it is done shorter in the front to longer in the back. And when you talk about this haircut, remember your laws of hair cutting. We say that cutting on diagonal sectioning creates movement in a haircut. So which way will this haircut move? Also, the laws of hair cutting, short hair pushes and supports long hair. So if you put the shorter lengths in the front and the longer lengths in the back of the head, which way is this going to move? Pushes, so it's going to move away from the face. The one length part of this haircut, and we said that this is the last one length haircut we're going to demonstrate or show you or teach you in this particular section of your education, and this is called the diagonal back. So there were 3 classic haircuts that we taught you in one length fashion. In our next session, we're going to be introducing to you another way of cutting this same haircut or same design, diagonal back, but using a different technique, which is called shifting. And we'll get into that in the future on our next session, but it is a progressive learning process that we use here at Capri. So we're going to progressively build on the skill sets that you've already learned, and that's how we teach from hour 1 to hour 1000.